Hello, ladies, and welcome. Welcome to Quilt Conversations Live. I've been looking at the chat, and the girls are back together again. It's so good to see everyone. Sherry is here. I see that Elaine is here tonight. Hello, Copper. Hello, Jacqueline. You're here too. And Wilda. Sharon is here. Jazzy, hello. Katie over on Facebook. Fantastic. I'm so excited, ladies. How are you? How are you? How was your week? Your last 2 weeks, right? How are you today? How have you been? What have you been up to? Let us know in the chat. What project are you working on? Have you finished any? Do you have any good news or some projects that are finished and delivered? Let us know what is going on in your sewing and quilting room, your studio, your nook, wherever you sew or quilt. Let us know. Thank you, Copper. Yes, if you're interested in this t-shirt, you can get one. It's so good to see everyone. Sherry, how are you? I know that you won't be able to be here long, but I'm glad that you can be here for however long you can stay. I am excited to be here. I miss you, ladies. And so I was getting excited when I saw the names popping up in the chat on YouTube. Wonderful. Okay. I have been working on a project. I've been working on I've given the quilt a new name. And originally it was going to be my Color Wave. No, not the Color Wave. What was the name of the quilt? Oh my goodness. I just lost the name of the quilt. Um, hmm, hmm, hmm. Anyway, it has a new name and it's called Beautiful Sister. Remember this? I was working on this silhouette of my sister, Cookie, and I've been trying different techniques to transfer this silhouette to fabric. So I have found my choice of how to do it. So that's one thing that I've been working on in terms of my sewing projects. I've been slowly working on how I'm going to make this block work so I can quilt on it. And I'll show you with the overhead camera. So this is the one of many that I tested. And it was through my inkjet printer. And you had to print it on this special film and then transfer it by heat. But it didn't transfer. Some of it's very ghosty here I didn't like, and then it started peeling off. And then I thought, when I stitch it, is it just going to put holes in it? So I didn't like that idea because I wanted to add some texture to the hair and some other elements. I didn't want to have to be restricted by this film. So, yes. So, ultimately, I tried like 3 different transfer techniques with different companies. One is called, it's like a June Taylor type where you do it for t-shirts. I didn't like that technique. It wasn't going to work for this project. I also tried another one that's called artist transfer paper. I just looked over on the other side of the room to see the name, artist transfer paper, and I didn't like that either. So what I ended up doing was designing some fabric in EQ8. I went into EQ8. I made my blocks. I resized the image. This was originally a photograph, her high school photo. And I played with it in imaging software, and then I made it to a certain size to go into EQ8. Once it was in EQ8, I designed it based on a yard of fabric, and then I sent it to Spoonflower. Oh, yes, she is beautiful. She is. Yes, yes, yes. You like it, Wilda. Awesome. So I designed it with multiple colors. Let me see if I can get rid of that. There we go. So here are the colors. Ta-da! It was a yard. I already washed it and I trimmed it into individual blocks. The blocks, each one is 8 by 10. 8 by 10. So I have different colors. Yeah, look at that. Now I can piece this into a quilt, into a pillow, into a tote bag, into anything I want. What color do you ladies like? Do you like all of them? Yeah, I like all the colors, right? It is so fun. And it's, of course, it's printed on one side, right? It's printed on one side. It's not printed on the back. So I'm going to test some of these out before I put them in the quilt, and I'm going to make like a small little project. Stitch it up, see what quilting techniques I want to do before I put it in the quilt. Well, it is and it isn't a portrait quilt. I'm calling it the Beautiful Sister quilt. Beautiful sister. This is my sister. She's beautiful. And I'll probably stitch some words in it, but I think it can apply to anyone. So if anyone wanted to make a quilt based on a beautiful sister, and that sister could be my sister, or it could be just a generic, sister. You love your sister, right? So, yes. So that's what I've been working on. Yes. Oh, Sharon, you like the green. But all of them are striking. Yeah, the lime green is particularly attractive, isn't it? The only one that I didn't really like the color that I chose, when you're working in EQ8, you can choose all types of colors, right? And I didn't know how they were going to turn out. And so one that looks red, actually when I put it in EQ, it was more of a peach color. I didn't want red. I wanted like a peachy. I wanted a not red, not peach, but more in between, if that makes sense. Yeah. So anyway, what have you ladies? I've been looking in the chat and I don't see anyone mention what they are working on. So I am going to begin to talk about ruler quilting. How many of you ladies are ruler quilting? You have tried it. You have a ruler foot and you have tried ruler quilting. You have a straight edge and you free motion ruler quilt with an acrylic ruler. Let me know. Coral, yes, that's it. Coral. Thank you, Wilda. Salmon, yes. Copper, yes. That's more the color that I was looking for. Yes. Shari says, me. Yay. Me. Awesome. Sharon is learning ruler and she really likes it. Awesome. Love that. Oh, Copper, I know you've been taking care of your parents. You are busy. We all have seasons. You will have your season to start quilting again. You love it though. Okay. You enjoy. You love the control. Yes. I love it too. It really helps enhance our free motion quilting and it gives us more options. The more designs that we can create in our projects just gives us more freedom. And those designs can be created in different ways with acrylic rulers, with our freestyle, free motion, with decorative stitching. You heard me talk about this before. And then we can combine all of those or use just one, just so many options. So what I want, okay, Elaine says, I just can't get the hang of moving the fabric and holding the ruler at the same time. Aha. Elaine, do you do free motion quilting? Do you do free motion quilting? Think of the ruler as your second hand. I actually have to wear a glove because the ruler slides for me. I need a glove. And so when I'm doing free motion, and one hand has a ruler in it. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And I'm glad you mentioned that because this Lydia tote bag back here, this is a tote bag I designed specifically to help ladies get better at control just by using one ruler. Using one ruler to help you get better at designing, better at control, better at using the lines on the ruler. All of that is part of this course. It's so you can have that repetition of practicing and so that you can actually see where your difficulty is. When we repeat a process over and over, that gives us the opportunity to see where we're having the problem. And then once we recognize that, to find the solution. Yeah. The bag is stunning. Oh, thank you. Awesome. Jazzy says she just finished a quilt and stitched in the ditch. That wasn't easy. Stitching the ditch is another skill to develop. Most of these are skills that we have to develop over time. And so, Jazzy, with every quilt that you make, you will get better. We all started with Stitch in the Ditch. I started with Stitch in the Ditch. And it was slow going in the beginning. That's so true. So if you are new to ruler quilting, I just want to share with you some of the tools that are provided, well, needed, I should say, needed for making this tote bag. And I'm going to go to my overhead camera. And so the design is a hexagon, half hexagon design. And you use a template like this. This is a 10-inch. This is by Missouri Star. And if you don't have this template or you can't find it, included in the pattern for the tote bag, I give a template that you can cut out. And when you are using the paper template, how many of you, when you get a pattern and it has a paper template for cutting fabric, you take that paper and you iron it to the shiny side of freezer paper. So you would have the freezer paper, you will put the printed out template on the shiny side, and you would iron it. So you can sometimes, I would recommend putting, if this was the printed, let me do this one. No, you know what I'm going to use? I'm going to use this here. So here is, let's see, try this one right here. So for instance, if this paper came out of my printer and it has the template on it, right? So you're going to get in the pattern a template. If you can't find this, you print it out. Then once it's printed, you put the printed side down, right? So the printed side is going to be down. Then you put the freezer paper with the shiny side down. So the back of the printed is touching the shiny side of the freezer paper. Then you use a hot dry iron to make that template thicker. You're going to increase the thickness of the paper by attaching multiple layers of freezer paper. How many of you have done that to your templates, paper templates? Oh, Elaine, you have this template. Fantastic. You have this one right here. Great. Hi, Catherine. So glad you're here. Wonderful. So glad to see you here. Oh, you never, okay. Wonderful. Okay. Hey, Rochelle, how are you? So glad you're here. Wonderful. Okay, so that is my tip. If you ever get a paper template in a pattern where you have to cut the fabric, you're going to print, or if it's included in the pattern, you print it out, or if you get a hard copy, you make sure the printed side is down. You get freezer paper, and you put the freezer paper on top with the shiny side touching the back of the template. Hot iron. Now you just increase the thickness of the template. I would do that 2 to 3 times to make the paper template sturdier. You can glue it to a cereal box. Yeah, you can do that too. Whatever works for you. That's what I recommend. Don't just use the paper template itself. You want to make sure that you cut it. All right. You have a little bit of thickness to it. So that's one thing you're going to need, right? And then after you make the tote, you're going to need some other things. After you make the front of the Lydia tote bag, let me go back to my host view. All right, here we go. So this is the Lydia tote, right? I have a couple of versions of it. This is one version, right? You're going to make this with the template, then you're going to quilt it. You're going to add some grommets, right? I like to use foam for my tote bags. So I use 2 different types of foams. I use something called Bosal. Bosal is a fusible foam stabilizer, and it's fantastic for tote bags, and it's double-sided fusible. So you can use this, or you can use Soft and Stable. That's another favorite, and they have white and black. Soft and Stable by Annie. Yes, you love that for totes. Wonderful. Yes, you do designs backwards when you're printing them out because, yeah. All right, so you're going to need that because that's what you're going to quilt it on, right? Then you're going to need these grommets. These grommets come with, these are actually curtain grommets. They're for curtains, but we're using it for the tote bag. That's what I used. And it comes with this template, and in the pattern for the Lydia tote bag, I show you how to use this for the tote. How to mark, how to measure, how to ensure that this stays together. And I do some extra steps in securing the hole that you have to cut into the tote in order to attach these grommets so they're permanent. Then, in addition to these, you're going to need a straight edge ruler once you get ready to quilt. Once you get ready to quilt, you're going to need a straight edge ruler. And you're going to need a ruler foot. A ruler foot. I recommend this ruler. And the reason why is because it's nice and long. When you have a shorter straight edge, you have a lot of starts and stops. With a longer straight edge, you don't have to stop as often. So it also needs to have reference lines. Both of these have horizontal reference lines. You need those lines so that you can quilt without marking. And I want to show you an example of that. So those are some of the supplies that you need to make the Lydia Tote bag, right? And I showed you the front. You need a template for that, for the design. You need the grommets. You need the soft and stable, so it's a nice, cushy bag. But let's look at some photos. I want to show you, so then you're going to get a really good idea. All right, so here's the tote. This is the Lydia Tote. This is the first one that I made. And I made this when I was working with a fabric company for a new fabric line way back in 2016. Yeah, 2016 is when I first made this tote bag. Then I made a second one, which is this one with the flowers. And all of the quilting is done without marking, and that's why this is great for learning and getting better at using a straight edge, because you're learning how to use the straight edge of the ruler and the marks on the ruler. You're also learning how to position, and because it's repetitious, you're going to get better. The more you do something right, the better you get, right? Thank you. The texture is amazing. I love it too. Now, you may have seen this original Lydia tote. The back of this tote, the original, is different than the back of the second tote. The back of the second tote doesn't have the same type of quilting. So you get to choose which one you want to do, and I want to show that to you. Let's look at the front. Remember, we talked about the repeated straight line quilting based on the design, the hexagon design. Yes, I would like to come shopping. Yes, Marcia. Yes. Now, let's look at what this looks like on the back. So we are stitching this, we piece it, then we put it on the foam, soft and stable, or the balsa foam, and we are going to ruler quilt it. And just by looking at the back, you can see this is based on the piecing, and we're going to use the lines on the ruler to get this design, step by step. And you know me, I love to do things in steps. So this is actually step number 1, to do the center. Then step number 2 and 3 would be the left and right sides. But let's look at how the whole thing looks. This is how the whole thing looks on the back. This is the foam. Yeah, it really shows the texture of the quilting. It really does. And when you do this based on piecing, straight lines based on piecing, guess what? You are building a design library. You look at this, you make sure you take a picture just like I did so that you can repeat this design in another project. Now, the echoing of those lines, the space in between, they can be any distance you want. They don't have to be a ½ inch or a ¼ inch. They can all be a ½ inch. They can all be a ¼ inch. You decide how far apart those echoes are. In the pattern, you can decide to follow exactly what I did to get started, and then from there to branch off. I like the idea of using the original pattern to learn and practice, because then you learn the technique, you practice the technique, you see where you're having problems with the technique so that you can improve. And then once you're confident with using the ruler and the technique, then you branch off and experiment. and change the design to suit your personality, your choice. And that's where I did the same thing, right? I quilted the front. Then I said, let me branch off for the back. Let me do something very similar, but let's open up the space between the echoes so I can include some free motion quilting. So it's a perfect opportunity to either make the Lydia tote bag where the front and the back are exactly the same. You can make two exactly the same. Yes, it's good for shopping, good size. It is a perfect size for practice quilting. You got it. That is it. You got it. And that's why I made it this size, so that it can be not only practical in two ways, it's practical because it's useful, right? You can use it after you're done, but you can also use it to practice your quilting. So it's like a double, women, we like to multitask. We like to get the most out of everything we do, right? So once you try and quilt the front, you now have a choice. Do I do the same thing again because I need to practice? So I'm going to make two pieces with it, both the front. So instead of having a whole cloth in the back like this and like this one, you would make two of these so that the bag is like this in the front and it's like this in the back. And you practice your technique making this pattern. Or you make a whole cloth and experiment further. You get to decide. It will become your tote. Let's take a look at what that could look like. So here is the back. I think you can see better with this picture what that quilting looks like in the back. That is a full hexagon echoed out in the center. And in the ruler quilting pattern, you get two things. You get the tote pattern, how to put the tote back together, the piecing on the front, but you also get diagrams and patterns on how to create this whole cloth echoed hexagon. There's so many things that you are going to be able to learn in this course, in this pattern and ruler quilting course. You get the pattern for the tote, different techniques for how to make a tote bag, but also how to ruler quilt it. So you're getting two things, right? Let's look at the next photo because this is amazing. This is what it looks like after you quilt it before you put it together to make the tote bag. Bag lady. Rochelle says, so pretty. You hate to use it. Okay. Boundaries. Yes, Copper, you remember boundaries. So pretty. I hate to actually use it because I'm hard on bags, says Rochelle. Oh, no. Yes, use it for special occasions then. Yeah, and then you can also put Scotch Guard on it, spray it with Scotch Guard to protect the fabric. Okay, now you always know it looks better on the foam, right? In terms of seeing the quilting. Let's look at the foam. Look at that quilting, ladies. Look at that. Look at the secondary design with the diamond shape. This is the next level, right? You're stitching two different designs. You get to decide. There's two levels of ruler quilting that you're going to learn. Well, actually, there's three. This is the second. The first was the front, right? The first design, let's go back and look at the front. So here's the front. And so this is one design, right? This is the back, a second design. And with the first one, you ruler quilt it based on the piecing and using the rulers on lines on the ruler. So for this one, you're using the piecing to help you learn how to use the straight ruler with repetition and using the straight lines. Once you get comfortable with that and you want to go to the next level, then you take a whole cloth and I show you how to systematically create this design, and it's step by step. You can do this. It looks hard, but it is not. It is easy. Do you believe me? Do you believe me that this is easy? Rochelle, I know you can do this. I know you can. Excellent. That's right, Elaine. For the hexagon, yes. In the center, you will have to break thread. Sometimes with some designs, we have to take an extra step for creativity's sake and break thread. But it's not too many. I think it's like maybe 10 echoes, but you can decide to make the echoes a half inch apart, an inch apart, 3/4 of an inch, and of course the bigger it is, the echo, the fewer thread breaks you have because you're not going to make as many. Mine are a half inch apart. It becomes easier with practice, and that's the whole point of this course. This tote bag is all about repetition and practice to make it become easier and easier and easier. That is the whole idea, Copper. You got it. So, are you ready to see the third option, level 3? So you have the first one where you use the piecing in the front of the tote to get you started and warmed up. And you're like, man, I got that. I got this. I know what I'm doing. I can use this ruler. Or you say, you know what? I want more practice. So I'm going to repeat this. The front and the back of the tote are going to be exactly the same. Then the second one, if you're like, you know what? I want to try that concentric hexagon. I want to create that design. So you make your front one design and you make the back the other. So design number 1, design number 2 with additional skills that you employ. You learn how to do a whole cloth. Design number 3. Are you ready? Hey, Lorraine, so glad you're here. Yes, Sharon says, let's see number 3. Number 3 is this one right here. This is the first one, but I want to show it to you in photos. All right, here we go. Ready, ready. This is number 3. So for the ladies who know about borders and boundaries, now that we have practiced echo quilting based on the piecing, or we've tried the whole cloth hexagon pattern, we can create borders and boundaries based on that hexagon shape because we've been practicing basically how to use the hexagon shape with ruler quilting. Now you create borders and boundaries for any kind of free motion quilting you want to put on the inside. Any kind. You put in what you know, and maybe you put in something that you want to try, that you're learning. All right, who has a birthday? Oh, Lorraine. Happy birthday to Lorraine. Awesome. Happy birthday, Lorraine. Let's get a close-up look. Let me pull out the tote off the on more here, and I'm going to bring it to the overhead camera. All right, so let's look at this up close. So you see that same repetition, right, of that hexagon shape. Same shape. Let me see if I can make more room here so that you can see. Move over a little bit more. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make myself smaller. And I'm going to make this bigger, 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 bigger. Let's see if I can shift this over. Make that bigger. Nothing like doing it live. Nothing like doing it live. Here we go. All right. I think that's better. Now you can really see it, right? Hey, Deneen, welcome. So glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. All right. Yes. Copper. Marsha says, well, hey, Wilda, what's for dinner? Happy birthday to Lorraine. Yes, happy birthday. All right. Okay. So Sharon says the center looks difficult. Thinking about, let's go back to the front. Okay, so this is the front. This is the design number 1. And we are stitching these straight lines using the piecing, right? We're taking the ruler and we are going to put it right here and stitch. Shift the ruler and stitch. Then you're going to stitch again. Turn the ruler and stitch. You're going to do that all the way around, right? Until you get to where they start to meet, right? Once you do this, just following the piecing, think about how this is done exactly the same on this side. It's the same thing, right? I'm starting here, shifting, doing the same thing. The only thing is that I stopped and I left this open and I filled it in with the design that I know. You may not put feathers or crosshatch. You may decide to fill it with some other design that you like. It's your choice what you put in here. It does not have to be feathers. Same thing here. This can be filled in with whatever you want. When you're doing the front, this is design number 1, you're stitching this first. And it's all in the course step by step. I show you with video and with a diagram how to stitch this. You're going to watch me stitch it. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. And you're going to do this first. Then you're going to stitch each side, left and right. You're going to repeat this same process without piecing with a whole cloth. And that is when, instead of continuing the straight lines, we are going to make it into a full hexagon. You see here, we are breaking up the hexagon. Instead of continuing with a straight line here and a straight line here, we are going to keep going down. following this as our guide for quilting, this zigzag shape. For this one, instead of continuing the zigzag shape, we make a hexagon in the center. Okay. Let me check out the comments here. All right, let's see, level 3. Okay, hello. I love the boundaries because of the exact reason. It gives me space to try new things or get right, to get out of your comfort zone or get back into your comfort zone and quilt something familiar. Yes. Okay, Rochelle. Absolutely. Elaine says, one day I'm going to do this. Good. Good. Awesome. Okay. What else am I missing here? All right. So again, you decide how far you want to go. Maybe you don't want to put a design in the center. You want to continue with this spacing that's a little bit different. See how the spacing is bigger here? 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 1 inch, then 1/4, 1/2, 1/4. Or if you love applique, you can put applique something right here. Leave a big opening to put an applique piece right there. You decide how to make this tote your own. But it's a way to practice your straight lines and create borders and boundaries for free motion quilting. Even along the edge, I put some free motion quilting here. Did you notice the slight curve right here? The slight curve? I went from using the straight edge to bringing in a curved design with the other side of the ruler. When you move to the whole cloth, it's an opportunity to experiment and have additional fun. All right. Thank you, Copper. I'm glad that that is helping. So many creative possibilities. You don't know what boundaries are. That's okay, Jazzy. You missed one of the live sessions where I talked about it. And it's basically when we want to add a different quilting element, we want to place a border around it. And that's what I've done here. I've created a border and a boundary for the feathers. So I know that when I'm stitching the feathers, I don't want to go past that line, past that stitching. So that would be a boundary, right? And sometimes the boundary doesn't have to be thread. The boundary can be just a piece of a line that you've drawn so that the feathers are consistent. And you wanted a gap between the end of the feather plume and the next stitching. So a boundary can be just a line of chalk that you put on your fabric to make sure that you have consistent shape with whatever quilting pattern you're quilting. And then this outside one would be a border. So you decide how to combine it. Hopefully that helps. So ladies, what do you think? Isn't that just amazing? All the techniques that you can learn with the Lydia Tote. I am excited about this course. And did you know that originally this tote was, when I had a Facebook group, I did this in 2017, and in 2017, several ladies made this tote. Back then, it was a free pattern. It isn't anymore. Now it is a course. It's a course with added content. One, you have voiceover and instruction from me. You're going to take the course on my platform. You're going to be in a community. You're going to be able to submit photos to me, get help from me, which wasn't available in 2017. Let's look at what some of the students made. Whoops. I'll just put it here for now. So this is by Marilyn. Look at her tote. Isn't it awesome? I love it. She decided to make the whole cloth hexagon design on the back of hers. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love to see what others have done. And also notice the fabric choices. The fabric choices, ladies. This is by Marilyn. And this is by Carol Bain Newcomb. Yes, look at hers. Are you hiding or holding on to some specialty fabric? Look at her butterflies. Is that beautiful? I love hers. Nice designs. This is a time on the outside that you can feature that beautiful specialty fabric that you've been holding on to, that themed fabric, and use something solid maybe in the middle if you want. And here is another one that is completely different. Look at that one. Pretty, beautiful flowers, green with white accents. So we have a black one, we have brown, we have green with beautiful green and colorful yellow flowers. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love what they all did with their tote. They made the tote their own, and they all practiced the very basic first. Yeah, I like seeing it too. The colors do show off the quilting, especially in the center. You don't necessarily see it sometimes in the printed fabric. That's why I like showcasing the quilting with a small print or solid fabric. A small print meaning that it almost looks solid. Yeah, I agree. This is one of my favorites because I like butterflies. Yeah, very, very nice. I like it, like it, like it. Yep. And Marilyn chose all solid with that bright lime green. Neat. All of them are gorgeous. I agree, Rochelle. I agree, I agree, I agree. So I wanted to share that with you. Now, were you here last time when I talked about Clover? Clover and I are working together to bring a new show to their YouTube channel called Craft and Sewing Tool Chest. Yes, Deneen, I like the butterflies. Oh, okay, Deneen was at the Clover live show this week. Yes, yes, Sharon, that was fun. We had a great time. I will preview. So it happens on the second Wednesday. Last time I said Tuesday, and I meant Wednesday. Second Wednesday of the month. Oh, Deneen, your tools came today. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Yay. And so we talked about this one, the macaron. Now, you have to watch the episode. Go to the Clover channel. Watch it. Get the tips. Learn about this macaron. It's not a macaroon. It's called macaron. and I explain the difference between the two. They're both desserts. Do you have a sweet tooth like I do? A macaron is different than a macaroon. That's right. And this is a fantastic clover tool. You will need it if you do hand stitching. That's my clue for you. Marsha loves all the bags. Awesome. Yay. Here are the clover dates. Put them in your calendar. Join us. 5 p.m. if you can, or watch the replay. Mark these down, 5 p.m. on the Clover YouTube channel, or you can join me on Amazon. It's going to be live on both. So you can join me on Amazon or come to YouTube and join the chat. I think Deneen was there. Wilda was there. So Wilda says that she loves the clover. Hers arrived today too. Wonderful. And you will use it later this evening. Good. Took a screenshot of the dates. Awesome. Good idea, Copper. Good idea. Awesome, awesome. And then, let's see. One thing that I did not share, because here's the thing. I'm going live on Amazon and Clover's YouTube channel at the same time. So the first half of the show, Craft and Sewing Tool Chest, is Clover products, Clover tools. The second half is on Amazon only, and I talk about other tools in our tool chest. And so this is one that I talked about. This one is a circle cutter by Fiskars. Have you ever cut circles with a plate and the circles came out perfect every time? Have you gone into your kitchen cabinet looking for something, the right size circle for your project, so that you can, or have you used cardboard to cut out circles? Oh, thank you, Deneen. I'm so glad. That's right, Deneen. You were at both Amazon and on Clover's YouTube channel. That's right. This is a new to me circle cutter by Fiskars. You make frames, you make circles from 2 inches all the way to 12 inches. And it's so fast. And it's easy. It includes the rotary cutter with it. Ah, you put it on your list. All right. Making that list, checking it twice. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Copper says, I never find the right size cup or bowl. Yes. Is it better to watch part 1 and 2 on Amazon, or better YouTube part 1 and then switch? Well, it would be good if you can watch it on Clover so that they and I get the numbers that it's been watched, and you give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Only give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the show, and that would be a benefit to me. And then I like the idea, Lori, of watching part 1 on Clover and then going to Amazon to watch the rest. And that way, when you're at the end of the show, if you find that there's a tool that you want to add to your tool chest, you are ready and on Amazon to pick that tool up. Now, during the show, all the Clover tools were on sale. So the ladies got a good price. Yes, they do. They do matter. They do matter. The numbers do matter, Lori. Yeah. So I anticipate that on Wednesdays, let me go back to the dates, that you might get some discounts on those Clover tools. So just an FYI. Just an FYI on that. Okay, I think we're done here. I want to share with you a gift. How many of you are excited about the Lydia Tote bag and the ruler quilting that skills and techniques that you can learn from taking the now online course? It is now available. It is available. You get videos on how to create, and you also get step-by-step with diagrams on how to create and piece the front of the tote bag. You get diagrams for each of the patterns. Interested, wonderful. Because if you ladies are interested, for my date night ladies, I'm going to give you a discount, a significant discount. And this is only for you. Only for you. But you have to do it by Sunday, because then the discount code disappears. Can you guess what the discount code is? And here's the beauty. If many of you ladies take the course now, you'll be taking it together, and we will be in my website in the community together, working on the tote together. And then you can share photos with one another. Lori guessed it. What is the code? Date night, Lori, Elaine, date night. You got it. It's date night. It's date night. That is the code. That is the discount code. So the coupon code, you save $50, $5 US. You will get access to the online platform. You get access to the community where we can share photos and our progress. There are videos that you watch. There are diagrams. You get the whole kit and caboodle. And you get to submit assignments because I want to help you along the way. There are videos on the tools that you need. I show you why you want to use one ruler over the other. We go through it together. And so as you gather your supplies and you get started, you can say, hey, I got my supplies. You let everybody know in the community, I have my supplies. Here's my photo. Do you have yours? When are you going to get started? I selected my fabric. Here's a picture of my fabric for my tote. Let me see the pictures of your fabric. So the coupon code is date night. And it's only good. Hey, there goes my brother. Awesome. There's my brother. It's only good until Sunday. So you have 2 days to decide to join the Lydia Tote course. And we can then also be a community on my platform, and we can share and chat with one another. Yes, Lori, Elaine, Copper, everyone. Deneen, Sharon. Now, of course, you can decide that it's not for you, but then a month later you say, okay, I'm ready to join. You can do it then. But you won't get this. All right. That is the code. Date night. Awesome, awesome. My brother is here. Welcome, welcome. Yes. All right, ladies. Can you believe it? It's been an hour already. The time just flies by. Let me know, what do you have planned for the next week or two before we meet again? We meet again when? October 1st. Well, the first Friday, I should say. It's not October 1st. It's the first Friday. What date is that? Who knows what date that is? Let's take a look. Quit that. Let me go to my phone. What date is the first Friday in October? First Friday is the 7th. That's the next time we meet, and I am happy to share, if all things go according to plan, we're going to have another spotlight. We are going to talk about and share the success of one of our date night ladies and Stitching Lane students. She is a Stitching Lane student. She is taking courses with me on my website, and that is Terry Green. She is going to be our spotlight for October, and I look forward to sharing her journey for free motion quilting. A year ago, a little over, more than a year ago, Terry was afraid of free motion quilting, but not anymore. Not anymore. Yep. Hey, Catherine, you are welcome. You're welcome. Sharon helps to get some quilting done for her the next couple of weeks. Marcia says, happy quilting, ladies. Yes, fantastic. All right, ladies, if you don't have any questions, thank you for joining me on Quilt Conversations Live. And if you are watching on the replay, I'm so glad you're still watching. And I hope you got something out of this. Let me know if you have any questions. Comment below. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed our time together. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can be notified the next time I go live or upload a video. Ladies, as always, it's been good to spend time with you to talk about what we all enjoy, and that is quilting. Thank you for the opportunity to spend time with you. I don't take it for granted that you ladies come. I'm telling you, I am thankful. I appreciate each and every one of you. I know your time is valuable, and so I'm thankful that you're willing to spend your time with me on a Friday night date. Yes. All right, all right. You're welcome, Lori. You're welcome. Good night, Elaine. It's late for you. Have a good sleep. Good night, Jazzy. Nighty night, everyone, says Copper. And Copper, thank you always for being an awesome moderator. I appreciate you too. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. See you, ladies, next month. In the meantime, stay safe and have a happy quilting weekend. See you soon.